Mahadev, Jupiter, Venus, Mercury conjunction in Vedic astrology, which is one of the most auspicious conjunction. How these people are remarkably brilliant and why do they have tempting lust or desire? Let's figure it out in this video today. And if you're new to my channel, please subscribe. What is Jupiter? Jupiter is prosperity, knowledge, the ultimate meaning giver. And what is Venus? Venus is beauty, luxury, joy. Most importantly, the rejuvenation or nourishment we feel through our relationships. And what is Mercury? Mercury is languages, analytical intelligence, logical intelligence, speech, and friendship, youthfulness. Now, when these three are together, what happens? Well, all of them are beneficial planets. So, they bring auspiciousness, remarkable blessing and grace onto the native's life through that house where they are taking place. Why so? Because they are all beneficial. They are not negative malefic planets. They want to give goodness, they want to give wonderful experiences to that native. Shape the native's consciousness in a very positive, in a very sattvic or rajasic manner. Okay? So, and that's what happens. They get to experience everything these three planets signifies. So, they get to learn because Mercury wants to learn. Mercury pushes a man or a woman to gain knowledge, become learned, because Mercury is the most studious student. He is the most intelligent student. So Mercury, with the help of Jupiter and Venus, his friend, helps the native becomes wise, educated. Now whether they go to a university or not, whatever they do, they become wise and knowledgeable. They gain information continuously. Okay. Venus, they experience the joy of passionate love, youthfulness. They connect and communicate with others beautifully. They are tactful conversationalists. They are soft speakers. They converse very beautifully, smartly. Other people are drawn towards them because Mercury and Venus together, they are friends. They make a beautiful relationships, with each other. Venus and Mercury, it makes that man a charming, sweet speaker. Okay, whomever they speak, they become their friends. They have a lot of friends. Through those friends, they experience life. They experience the rejuvenation of Venus. They feel nurtured, nourished in life. Okay, Venus is the desire to build wealth, to experience wealth, luxury, right? Jupiter grants that wish. Jupiter gives them luxury, the friendships, and all that Venus and Mercury wants. Even though Jupiter treats Venus and Mercury as its enemy, Venus and Mercury treats Jupiter neutrally, but Jupiter considers Venus and Mercury enemy. Why? Because Jupiter has its own agenda of giving a native, giving the consciousness the ultimate meaning, which is enlightenment or the freedom, the liberation of the soul, because Jupiter is Jivatma. Jupiter is the manifestation of the divinity we have within. So Jupiter wants to push us into that direction. Regardless of whatever we experience in life, Jupiter wants to handhold us and give us the knowledge and make us enlightened. So Venus and Mercury is a hindrance in the Jupiter's path. That's why Jupiter dislikes them. But Jupiter is the ever beneficial, forgiving Guru of the Devas. He forgives them and ends up giving all what Venus and Mercury wants. Venus wants to have luxury, beauty, cash, make wealth, experience romance. Jupiter helps in that. Jupiter expands it, okay, because Jupiter is expansion. Mercury wants to communicate, make more and more friends, okay, use his logic and analytical, understanding to gain more profit in business. Jupiter helps that, okay. So in that way, Jupiter here acts as a positive catalyst, even though he considers Mercury and Venus as its friend, as its enemy, okay. Now what is the conflict here? Jupiter is becoming somehow exhausted by helping them get what they want, the Venus or Mercury, but Jupiter is unable to exercise his way of training the consciousness, which will ultimately take the native to the path of liberation, to the ultimate path of enlightenment. So in that way Jupiter becomes annoyed, because here Mercury and Venus, they are so beautiful friends, they are the best friends. They, whatever they wish, they ask their grandfather, the Jupiter, okay, who is the grandpa, the old man, the beneficial, and Jupiter ends up granting them. So Venus and Mercury tries to fulfill the Jupiterian agenda in Venusian way or Mercurian way, which Jupiter does not like, okay, meaning they want to go to the path of liberation or fulfillment, ultimate fulfillment, knowledge, by experiencing more joy, more friendship, more luxury, okay, more money, more profit, okay, through that, which is actually a mirage, a facade. It's not going to happen, okay, and that is the price they pay, because they get that insatiable desire, that lust of more and more. Lust doesn't only mean the sexual desire. Yes, lust also means sexual desire, but not only sexual desire. It is kama. Kama meaning all kind of desires, okay, the attachments, the raga, okay. So they want to attach to all these earthly material experiences and have all the happiness and experience all the beauties of life, okay, and through that they want to become wise and ultimately have the Jupiterian wisdom, which is impossible, which doesn't happen. So that is why the more they feel dissatisfied with this particular path of gaining wisdom through experiencing material pursuit, the more insatiable their thirst become. Their thirst become, okay. They want more and more. They think, if I buy another Audi, then I'll be happy, If I have 2 more friends, or if I go to that party or change that club where I go in all evenings, then probably I'll be more happier, okay. Or if I have changed the business partner, or if the board of directors have 2-3 more partners, then probably I'll feel ultimately happier. But that doesn't happen, okay. So in that way they keep on expecting more and more of this Venusian luxury or prosperity, okay. So in that way they become lustful and desirous. Now this can take a very dangerous turn, let's say when they do not have proper clarity in their life. If they do not live a purposeful life, they are somehow scattered, all the time partying and have no real responsibilities, okay, or let's say they are not disciplined, the Saturn is not helping them, or they do not have a good character, the Sun is not also good moral or ethics they do not possess, then they can go into various directions where their life can go into total jeopardy. Irrespective of these three planets working together, they are so beneficial, as I said earlier. Okay, so they must be conscious, and conscientiousness should become active in their life, inside their consciousness, because there is Mercury, Jupiter, Mercury is also there, both of them are trying to make him wise. So cumulatively they end up becoming wise after having so much of indulgence, after having so much of bhogas, so much of experiences of this beauty, luxury and this earthly material experiences. They learn ultimately all these are nothing but just simple joys and parts and parcel of life. This is not the ultimate meaning of life. Then their Jupiter actually helps them. Then the Jupiter actually takes the Venus and Mercury along, and he shows what kind of a grandpa he is. Okay, so this takes time, but they live a very wonderful, happy, joyful life. Okay, regardless of the desires and the lustfulness which takes their mind away somewhere else and doesn't let them feel the fulfillment, the ultimate fulfillment of Jupiter, they still come back and become conscious, become conscientious, and they develop that discernment within them and understand what is right, and that makes them, yes, that wise man which I was talking about in the beginning. So they remain wise and they live a wonderful life if other planets are also helping and Mahadashas are also helping. So I hope this makes sense to you and you have understood something, and if you have this, you are very lucky, my friend. Enjoy your life, have some ethics and morals, okay, and I will see you in the next video. For consultations, go to my website down below, astroraja8.com. Har Har Mahadev.